will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Miss Sandy Gilliard.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now Reverend Carl Flagg will lead us in the invocation.
Let's reverence our hearts to God that we may pray. Almighty and everlasting God, we humbly approach your throne of grace and mercy. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day in our county. We thank you for the school board, and we thank you for the superintendent and the administrators throughout this county. Lord, in today's meeting, meet us at our point of need. Give us grace, mercy, peace, and love. Help us to practice respect and good character. Help us to reach out and love each other like we won't get a second opportunity. And help us to do whatever it takes to make this community stronger, resilient, and better. Lord, bless these educators who are now approaching the end of a school term. Bless the parents and the students, especially those that are graduating, and those, Heavenly Father, that will return for a new school year. Help us to use the wisdom that only comes from above as decisions are made, and help us to embrace those decisions so that when they are made, trial implemented, however, we ask you to give us patience and, Heavenly Father, compassion and a commitment to reach consensus on the best practices for this district. Bless us now in deliberations and help us to respect each other's opinions, but let the leaders make the decision that will move us forward. This we pray in the matchless name of Jesus Christ. And we all said amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Flagg. Before we begin, I would just like to remind any of you who would like to speak during the public comment section that you need to fill out one of these forms and turn it into the secretary sitting at the front. Pam, raise your hand, sitting at the front. All right, we're going to start with a recognition of QI Roberts band members with Mr. Dew. Good to see you again.
Oh, thank you. Sorry for my casual attire.
Hey, you're fine.
You look great. Oh, I do, thank you. I know, I was just telling them earlier that I make this look good. It is my honor to recognize Bradley Stone and Taylor Rutkowitz for achieving an accomplishment that these are the first two students at QI Roberts to achieve this because we're newly high schooled. They advanced to state solo and ensemble this year, and the qualifications for state solo and ensemble are such that they have to play a high level solo, high school level solo, grade 5 or above, and they have to receive a superior rating on it at the district level to go to the state level. And they judge very hard at district level here, but at state, it's like 4 times as hard. These two traveled to, oh, help me, because we were out of district, Apopka. We had to go out of district because Bradley was traveling with the Palatka musical folks to New York, so we had to go out of district. I know, that's pretty cool, too. Anyway, so we had to go out of district to Apopka. These two traveled to Apopka and played their solos at state solo and ensemble, and Taylor received another superior at solo and ensemble, and Bradley received an excellent. And the school and the school district should be very proud. I know that I'm very proud of them, and I hope that it's just the first two of many to come. Is that it? Is that all I can say?
Awesome. Congratulations. Is Kirk here?
Who?
I didn't know if somebody was going to get a picture.
Oh, they already did,
okay,
didn't they?
okay.
Did they get me in it?
Took it while you weren't looking.
I missed it.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you
thank
so
you.
much on your wonderful
Congratulations.
accomplishment. Next, we have Ms. Cummings, school board member, and Ms. Nikki Hawthorne, our director of school food services, will make a presentation to our queen, Megan Lingle.
Okay, again, you're used to
to stand in front of a crowd, so I want you, of course, we want you to say a couple words, but we wanted to recognize a student who decided to choose a weekend feeding backpack program that we've begun 6 to 7 years ago that's really just taken off, and Megan has taken that to her state level in her pageants, and she has done an exceptional job, lots and lots of hours and lots of resources. If you always went to the play and you saw the table set up, that was all Megan, and all the hard work she put into making this happen is just amazing. So this student deserves amazing recognition and achievement. She is always willing to come speak at civic groups, Girl Scouts, stand in front of Walmart and partner with this cause for Feed the Need. So we just recognize her hard work and thank you for all your service. You can speak because you're so good at it. Come say something.
Okay, so like she said, I'm Megan Lingle. I'm Miss Gem City's Outstanding Teen, and I'm the Teen Ambassador for the Feed the Need of Putnam County. Every week we fill backpacks full of food to send out to elementary schools and some middle schools so they have an opportunity to have food over the weekend. Some children do not have the privilege of having food over the weekend, so it impairs sometimes their learning habits, or they just can't focus in school, so it's a really good program. I've acquired 550 community service hours through this program, and I've reached almost 20,000 food items when my goal was 10,000 in about 5 months. So I really appreciate all y'all's help. So thank you for letting me speak today and get this
Thank
award.
you, Megan.
Megan, they're gonna take a picture. Get in the middle.
Let her mama get a picture.
Yeah, T wants a picture.
This one, you don't have to put it on that Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Now I would like to invite up my sisters from Alpha Delta Kappa, International Honorary Organization for Women Educators, as they present a top fifth grader award.
If the ADK sisters will come on and come on up and join us, and then I'm gonna, I'll let you guys help pass out as we. Hi, I'm Michelle Michael. I am with ADK. That is a teacher sorority. It's an international honorary organization for women educators. Alpha Delta Kappa builds educational excellence, altruism, and world understanding through fellowship. These are just a few of our sisters that are here today. Some are still in the classrooms teaching, couldn't make it. I'm filling in for Sally Craiglow, which is our president. And we would like to recognize fifth grade students. Our sorority continues to give a scholarship each year to 1 or 2 graduating seniors. They apply for the scholarship and we're able to give those. And we wanted to do a little bit more than what we've done in the previous years. And as probably most of you know, 8th graders, they're recognized by another organization where they get, I think, a check and their certificate for having all A's for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So we thought it would be a great opportunity to recognize those 5th graders that are excelling. And there are many 5th graders are excelling, but we have 1 5th grader for every elementary school that they were nominated by their teachers, but also their administrators at their school. So I think that they deserve to be recognized not only from their school, but here at the school board meeting. So we thought that would be a great opportunity. Real quick, I just want to let you know that in the past 2 years alone, Alpha Delta Kappa members have given nearly $12 million in monetary and other gifts, nearly $2 million in scholarships, and have provided more than 2 million hours of volunteer service to their communities. So we do a lot of volunteer work, but we also do a lot of different things with monetary gifts and scholarships and things like that. We like to give back to the community. So we are very happy and fortunate that we're able to do that this year. So this is something brand new. So I will not talk any more about ADK, but We are super proud of all of you fifth graders, and I know family and friends that are here and those representing them with their, here at their school are also equally as proud of them, and they should be recognized for this. So I will call your name, and maybe if you guys could stand up here with them and they could get a picture with them with you, and I'll let y'all hand the certificate and the check. How about that? Does that work? Okay. So first of all, we have Araya Nicole Clark from Mosley Elementary School. Excellent job, Araya. We are very proud of you.
Do a group picture.
And I don't know if I mentioned, they are getting a certificate, but they also get a $50 check that belongs to them. So mom and dads can go cash it for them, but they'll have $50. Barnes & Noble to buy a book. Second, we have Caitlin Arthur from James A. Long Elementary School. Miss Caitlin. Excellent job, Caitlin. We are very proud of you. Lance Dollar from Browning Pierce Elementary. Haley Simpkins from Aquila Elementary. Good job. Noah, I hope I pronounced this correctly. Is it Lotto? Lotto, sorry. Noah Lotto from Melrose Elementary. Great job, Noah. Mackenzie Brooke Hutchinson from Kelly Smith Elementary. Congratulations, Mackenzie. Nathan Harold Bohannon from Interlaken Elementary. Cadence Grayson Carlton from the Children's Reading Center Charter School. Good job, Cadence. Lillian Geraldine Griffiths, Mellon Elementary. And we have Yahir Vergara, and he is from Milton Burney Elementary. We should be very proud of these students. I don't think they just made an impression on their school or their teachers or administrators just during fifth grade. I feel like this is probably something that since they were in kindergarten, you know, they've always been able to shine above the others. And I think you guys should just continue to work hard and do what you're doing. You're doing a great job, and we're super, super proud of you.
That's what I was going to say.
Big smile, guys. 3, 2,
Any parents who want to come up, come on up and take a picture. Yeah, stay where you are until the parents come up. Thanks, Stephen. Stand still just until we get all the parents up.
She can't fire him unless she gets told what to do by the superintendent.
He went and told, I'm sure she said, I want him fired. Okay, he goes along with the.
Not quite, not quite. That everybody? Okay, thank you very much.
He's made a little change. He has.
We'll take a little minute break in case there are people
Still got
that.
one more presentation.
Oh, we got one more?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, how could I forget Kiwanis?
Easily.
Sally and Ray and Reverend Jacobs and Mr. Crawford. See a bunch of y'all.
Robin.
Huh? Oh, Robin's here?
Robin Robinson.
Is they,
Coach
Palatka Kiwanis, come on up.
Coach Humphreys is here.
Oh, he's in that corner?
Now he's being presented the check.
Oh. Sorry, Bobby.
You're like, oh, he's
Got to
in
give
that
it to somebody.
Kiwanis?
Look, and he's all shaved and cut and this is awesome.
Robin see a microphone now, she's gonna go talking.
Ray, I need one of those
I'm gonna
checks.
send my plate.
I'm sure all the criteria, but
And there's Trent.
scholarship money, I'm not sure. if
I
they
didn't
hang
see
on to
Trent.
it
You're about to
graduate.
fade away. Well, sorry about that.
Okay.
Come on in, Mr. Silcox. There's plenty of room now.
Bubba Silcox,
I love you.
that's Bubba. What's he do now?
Teaches at Black High School?
Bubba Silcox?
Yes. Where you been?
I didn't know that.
I think we have everybody.
5 years ago.
Bubba grew up.
I think we have everybody. So we are members of the Kiwanis Club of Palatka, and we operate the concession stands in the Palatka High School home football games on Friday nights. And so thanks to everybody coming hungry and thirsty, we had a banner year this school year, and we raised more than we ever have. And we are really excited this year. We give away half of the money in scholarships to a graduating senior at Palatka High School, or more than one. And then we also give half of the money to the athletic department. And because the check is bigger than it's been in any year, we wanted to come here and present it in style to the coach so that you could use that for Palatka High School athletics, football, whatever it is you're going to do with it. We're really excited to make this presentation to you and to thank you for allowing us to be there yet another year to operate the concession stands. And again, thank you to everybody that's come and purchased things from us. And also, while I'm here, want to just mention that the Kiwanis Club of Palatka meets on Thursdays at lunchtime, and then we also have a once-a-month evening club.
It's gonna cost you $1.
And so, okay. But we're always looking for other folks that want to come and join with us and do great things in the community, like presenting this check. This is our president, Ray Leitzman, and he's going to present the check to the coach for how much? $6,800.
There he is. Too late for that.
Why don't y'all all get in there?
Everybody, yeah.
Y'all all worked hard slaving away in those. Yeah, sweat equity.
Y'all did well, my gosh. Cooking up a storm.
Although I don't recall seeing Bubba in the concession stand.
No, Bubba wasn't there.
Hey. Hi. Tagara, get up front.
You're up.
Big smile.
Right.
Thank you. Yeah, give it a minute to cover up and make your announcement.
Are you up to no good?
No.
You're up to no good again. Got all those people from Mona Parks that summer writing a letter to the editor.
Oh, I didn't know,
I can see your handiwork.
No, not at all. I did ask the superintendent and the board attorney before the public comment section if I could make a quick statement about something concerning, the majority of the public comments are in reference to the change of times for the schools. And so I just want to read something that was done procedurally that I've looked into, and I couldn't talk to my fellow board members about it because it is a sunshine law. So I'm just going to read it, and then we can discuss, or not discuss it, but several parents, grandparents, community members have contacted me concerning this matter, and the main complaint was, why were we not informed? As I listened to their complaints over and over, I decided to look at a statute and consult with FSBA to get a procedural opinion. According to statute 125.525, section 2, a change should only be made for good cause and notification as such shall be at the earliest practical time concerning the agenda. The agenda contained two schedules that were very similar and almost identical to this year's schedule. On Monday, May 1st, 2017, less than 24 hours prior to the board meeting, a new schedule, Schedule D, was added to the agenda. The new schedule was opposite of the other two that were posted 7 days prior. The representative from FSBA stated, which the reason I spoke with them is she got back with me today. If anything is added to the agenda and the board feels as though the public should not have had a 7-day notice, they can vote not to amend the agenda. Theoretically, items should only be added in case of emergency. So I did want to bring this to my fellow board members, nothing to do with opinions. This is just procedural, and I've asked the board attorney to look into that because there's two ways to fix this, amendment or to put the item correctly on 7 days prior. So that would be something that the superintendent and the board attorney and myself, I cannot look my constituents in the eyes and they say, why did I not know, without making this procedural correction. So there is something here that procedurally, and again, the board attorney, but I've, again, done my due diligence as far as researching it, and that's why I feel that I could make a motion in new business to
Can I
add
ask-
an amendment, but that would be something that,
Could the board attorney, could you elaborate on that?
Sure. About 20 minutes before this meeting, board member Cummings asked me whether the item on the last meeting's agenda was procedurally deficient in that there was not a 7-day period of time giving notice to the public regarding the agenda item. I explained to board member Cummings and to the superintendent that I don't feel comfortable making that conclusion in 20 minutes. I would like to see the actual notice that was posted, what was attached to the notices, and see if we are okay or if we are not okay. If there is a procedural deficiency, then that is something that can be put back on the agenda, given the appropriate 7-day notice, and go at it that way. But at this point in time, I'm not comfortable concluding whether or not it was procedurally deficient.
So what happens to the motion and second and vote that was taken? Do we,
If it were properly noticed, then the vote will stand. If it were not properly noticed, it would need to come back.
okay.
And when will we get that determination?
Hopefully as soon as possible, within the next few days. Certainly before the next agenda is posted.
But nobody reads the agendas.
So you're saying you can
They don't read the
give us an opinion, and then if necessary, we could repost that or put that on the next agenda, is what you're saying? If, based on your legal opinion?
Right.
Okay.
Charlie, I've
Well, we
got a
have to.
brief question. If it was on the agenda, I wasn't at the last board meeting because I had a surgical procedure, but if it was on the agenda, doesn't that constitute normally public notice?
Yes, and I should also mention, I was not at the last board meeting because my kids were being born.
Right.
So
We have an
I
excuse.
just
You
was
and David both.
made aware of this potential issue, but if it were on the agenda and it was properly noticed, then there should not be a problem. But there is a time requirement provided in statute and in board policy regarding the amount of time required. There are some instances where we need 7 days, there are some instances where 24 hours or even less time can be afforded for various reasons. So I just need to take a careful look at it on
Sure.
an issue that has a lot of import, and we want to make sure we get it right.
Correct.
Okay, so then what would you recommend we do as a board? Because we want to get it right. We're not trying to, pull anything over on anyone. We want to be within the law. So what would you recommend that we do?
Just wait until you-
Right, so there, one of two things. Either the agenda was correctly noticed, and in that case, the decision of the board is the decision of the board, or it was not correctly noticed, and then it would need to come back before the board. But let's say that and this was a question presented by Board Member Cummings, is even if it were not procedurally deficient, can something be done? And the bylaws and procedures allow for the board to reconsider a matter previously adopted, but that is for the board to decide if you want to go down that route.
But in order to bring this back up, and in order for it to come back before the board for a vote, whoever made the motion would have to rescind their motion, is that correct?
And interestingly, this is not a matter that happens a lot, where a matter decided upon is revisited.
That's right.
So that's another issue, and I was able to study a little bit on that particular point, because in our bylaws and policies and procedures, we adopt Robert's Rules of Order.
That's correct.
And within the text. And Robert's Rules of Order says that on a motion to amend or reconsider or vote on a matter previously adopted, there would need to be a motion, a second, and a vote of the majority of the board. I do not find yet where it says who must make that motion, if it is the person who originally made the motion on the underlying decision. That is something that I would have the ability to research before it would come back, because even if you voted to amend or reconsider today, that's not something that you'd be able to vote on without, again, a proper notice period in the future.
I'm under the opinion that somewhere buried in that is past practice. But I've seen this happen over the years, but it always had to be whoever made the motion. But, we'll wait on you to advise us as to what.
What kind of position are we putting the entire district in, let alone these parents who really need to know what's going on? If we have 2 meetings in June and 1 in July. I mean, when does everybody want to know when school times are? Director of Transportation, when would you like to know?
Well,
I mean, seriously. how
Today?
long-
I also echo that.
Play with this.
I'd want to know as soon as possible if I were them.
Well, that's why we did what we did, but
Okay.
can I,
I agree. I mean, I think that is something very important for the board to recognize, that time is of the essence for the sake of the district and the other constituents involved, that this be a matter that is expeditiously handled.
so as far as you're concerned, I made the motion. If I wanted to take the motion off, and the person who seconded it today, we still can't revote today.
You would not be able to
Right, because it has
revote
to be
today.
noticed.
Well, if we notice for next time, I can wait till then to take the motion off. Or do I don't know what the rest
time
of the
frame,
board
yeah.
wants to do, but I just want to move it along. Whatever we're going to
I
do
don't-
needs to be done and decided on as soon as humanly possible.
Unless
Now, I thought we had done that, but obviously not.
the majority of the board has changed their mind, I don't know that there would be
And I don't think it matters how their mind is, it's just procedurally correct. And that's where I'm concerned, is following procedure. And when it was added 24 hours in advance, the Schedule D, and that is confirmed with an email, that's all I'm saying is give the 7-day notice that should be advertised correctly. And that's my whole concern. I don't care anybody's opinion on how they vote, that's up to them. It's just a matter of following procedure correctly. Otherwise, believe me, I haven't slept at night thinking about if I want to bring this up, because it is a very uncomfortable for everybody. But I don't feel that not following procedure, even if that perception is true, I don't like that feeling. I want to make it right. I want to make sure that Schedule D is properly on the agenda for 7 days. That's all I'm asking the board to just reconsider
And
that.
that's fine. And I think we need to wait until we hear from Charlie.
Absolutely.
I would request that we schedule a meeting 7 days later, if possible, so that we can resolve this. Once Charlie's got his answers for us, that we schedule a special meeting just to handle this.
You're talking about emergency meeting?
Emergency meeting or special, it can be a special meeting.
A special school board meeting?
Special school board meeting requires the 7 days notice. That's what we want to give them. So I would call it a special meeting, not an emergency meeting, which is where you can get into the less notice. But a special meeting for the purpose of deciding on the school calendar as soon as possible after Charlie comes back with his answers, assuming Charlie says there has been some procedural problems, let's redo it. Does that sound right?
Is 7 days sufficient?
Notice? Yeah.
Not for Charlie. I mean,
No, I'm not giving
Hopefully
Charlie
be
7
able to
days.
conclude as soon as possible.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving Charlie 7 days. I'm saying,
Well, I mean,
if
he
Charlie
might have
comes,
some big case coming up that he couldn't spend time.
We'll make this a top priority.
Okay.
and he has about
You'll communicate with
Why
the
don't we
board
just vote today?
as soon as possible.
Once we get the answer back from Charlie, I'm saying it's gotta be 7 days, so that the public has 7 days notice before
Gotta
the
give them
meeting.
7 days notice.
Because-
It's
And maybe
procedurally
the
incorrect.
Is
Daily
this
News
something we
could put
need to
it in.
vote on?
No. I think we're just agreeing to wait to hear from Charlie and then special.
Here's the kicker. If Charlie finds out everything's above board and done,
Then we don't
it's,
need the
then we don't, then it doesn't come back.
And that's
Right.
fine.
Now that it's been brought back, are you suggesting that it be revoted on
No.
today? You're not suggesting that, Ms. Cummings?
No, absolutely
Okay.
not. No. We couldn't anyway, because that defeats the purpose of the procedure, the
Of the
7-day
notice.
notice.
Enough
All I
time.
care about is the 7-day notice, and then that would be, then I can look my constituents in the eye and say, we did what we were supposed to do. I have no question about that. It's done procedurally correct according to 120.525.
Well, and I would also like to add, that's why it's very important that our constituents read the agenda for every
Absolutely.
board meeting, because you never know when something
That's right.
this important is
Right.
going to be on the agenda. Something I always
Wasn't-
did when my
wasn't-
kids were in school.
I didn't read it, but wasn't it on the agenda?
No,
Yes,
but
it
it
was
was
on
well,
the
the-
Schedule
the
D.
third
A
schedule-
and B. A
and-
and B were
yeah.
the choices, and they added D the day before, and D is the one we selected.
Okay, but D didn't hit the agenda.
Not
Not
until
until the day
24
before.
hours in
24
advance.
hours
After
in
the
advance.
principals meeting was put on.
Okay.
Okay?
All right,
We
thank you.
good?
Thank you.
We're good.
Get
We
that
can
off
start
my- I
listening
can
to
sleep now.
Okay, before we start the public comment section, I'm just gonna read a couple of things. The following guidelines should be observed when a speaker is addressing the school board. You need to come up to the podium. You need to speak into the microphone addressing the board. You need to state your name, your address. I don't think you need to spell your name. If you are representing an organization, identify that organization. You will limit your remarks to 3 minutes. We have a timer that you will be able to see up on the board, up on the TV, and I will notice you within 1 minute. I've already said that. Members of the audience are requested to refrain from audible comments and/or applause during the meeting. Do not indulge in personal attacks while speaking. The board chairperson will terminate any speaker's privilege to address the board if this rule is violated. The board does respect, and we take your comments seriously. However, the board reserves the right to not immediately make comment or take action on your comments. Okay, so we will start with Miss Phyllis Stoneman. She will be speaking about school start times. Where is it?
Ready? Okay. As you said, I'm Phyllis Stoneman. I have been teaching in Putnam County for 35 years, and I'm currently the music teacher at Middleton Burney Elementary School in Crescent City. I am here today to speak in support of the school time changes that were voted on at the last board meeting. This decision was based on research and supported by administrators. My experiences as a teacher also support this decision. Students need to get adequate sleep to maximize their learning. The American Academy of Pediatrics has recommended that middle and high school students have their schools start at 8:30 a.m. or later to allow students the opportunity to get the recommended amount of sleep on school nights, which is about 8.5 to 9.5 hours. Insufficient sleep is common among high school students and is associated with several health risks, including being overweight, drinking alcohol, smoking tobacco, and using drugs, as well as poor academic performance. As a teacher, I have seen the effect on students at the high school starting early and the elementary school starting late. When I taught intensive reading at Crescent City Junior Senior High School, many of my students were struggling to stay awake during their first period class. Research shows that the circadian rhythms change during the teen years, resulting in adolescents staying up later at night and sleeping later in the morning. By starting high schools later, these students will be more rested and ready to learn. I have spent most of my career with elementary school students. In the afternoon, they get very tired, and at times a student has even fallen asleep sitting in a chair. Young children naturally wake up early and are more eager to learn in the morning. One of the concerns I have heard is the safety of young children waiting in the dark for the bus. Personally, I believe an adult needs to be waiting with their young children, whether it's in daylight hours or darkness. District administration is looking into possible solutions for another parental concern of providing after-school care for elementary school children. If the district is able to do this with grants, it could help parents, but I hope the board will not spend any district money for babysitting in our current financial situation. With this decision being made now, parents have the time to make new arrangements for daycare in the event that the district is not able to provide it. Putnam County Schools are responsible for providing the best education possible for our students. With this change, there will always be some that need to make adjustments in their personal schedules, but I believe the new hours are in the best interest of the students that we serve. It's certainly worth trying. I applaud the decision to change to the new school hours and hope you will stand by this decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Johnny Counts.
This is going to be for the Armstrong roof and the roof.
Hey, Johnny.
I think it's already been a recommendation here on
Good afternoon. I'm Johnny Counts. I'm from Cracker Swamp, Florida. I want to address the.
Speak into the microphone.
Oh, I'm
Johnny,
sorry.
so everybody-
I want to address the situation my family's currently experiencing. My son has been the, I guess you could say, the participant of a senior prank that went on at Palatka High School last Thursday. Some of you probably haven't heard about it, but it's something that's concerning me is the response that I received as far as how it was carried out. The only call I got was to notify me that my son was being hauled to the sheriff's office for a prank that he committed. Had several charges filed against him. We've been working on that, trying to reduce that. It has been, seems to be, I don't know how you would put it. I feel really hurt because we were not involved with anything to do with it. We were not called in to come in and discuss it with the school. We were not consulted with anything we could do. There was no effort to find out about his home life, what kind of kid he is. It's something I feel really concerned, and I'd like to express my my disappointment in being treated this way. I'm a lifelong resident of this county, and I actually graduated Palatka High School, and I have several family members that have graduated there too. My kids have all graduated, and I feel like they are great examples of what the school system can produce. I have volunteered. I have sacrificed my time, talents, and my treasures to try to support this school. And the treatment that me and my wife have received over this, I think is vindictive for some reason. And I hope it doesn't happen to anyone else. If this is the kind of policy that you have, that you don't involve parents in situations like this, and that you don't have them be a part of what's going on in their children's life, I think that's what we all strive to do. I think that's what we encourage, parent participation. It is
Johnny, that's 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Oh, I didn't get the one. Well,
I know, I was listening to you and didn't look at my warning. If you want to go another minute,
can I add some to
you
that?
can add a minute.
Okay. Well, my son was, of course, he was ridiculed. He was called an idiot. He was publicly embarrassed. He has been going through a lot, not to mention his family. I feel like the principal, Mr. Stout, has no compassion or consideration for what he's accomplished. He's a perfect student. Graduating with honors. Never been in trouble. I pray that his heart is softened, and that he can find some kind of charity to be able to get to know his kids that he is appointed to oversee. I feel like if this is the vision that we have for Putnam County, to treat parents this way and to treat children, it's not going to improve. It's going to fail. You're not going to have an institute of learning. You're going to have a penal facility.
Okay.
Thank you for letting me speak. I want you to remember that school's almost out, and everyone needs to be careful this Memorial Day weekend,
Thank you for that reminder.
and always check twice for motorcycles. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Next, we have Tina Kaminsky.
Hi, my name is Tina Kaminsky, and I hope I can read fast. Okay, I live in Putnam County for 17 years now. I have 19 grandchildren. My husband and I are raising 3 grandchildren, ages 3, 5, and 8. My purpose for attending this meeting is to briefly go over the problems of the school changes you voted in and what they're going to cause. Some of you have considered these problems, and I may have brought to your attention some problems you have not considered. I want to give you common sense solutions to our 2 major problems, which being our sleepyhead children and truancy students, which I brought my granddaughter, who is a A+ student and truancy, and even spent time in trouble. So, and to address our academic problems and the solution to that. The change problem, of course, with the high school student survey, 90% of them don't want the change. Sports-related, dual enrollment, jobs. Having our youngest students stand in the dark for the bus, and the time change being November 5th is going to put them back 2 hours. An hour earlier, plus their bodies have to adjust to that.
In this day and age, parents don't leave or trust their kids with neighbors. We don't do pajama parties anymore. These things are left back in the 70s when I was a kid. Crescent City High School has a problem with children being dropped off early in the morning because their parents either have to work in Palatka or St. Augustine. Now they're going to be dropped off 2 hours earlier, and they're going to have to address that problem. Since the high school students would return home later, of course, someone earlier addressed the problem with daycare after school. Okay, I don't know if you know, but it's approximately $70 a week per child, which is $480 a month. If someone has 2 children, because they're older siblings in the high school and going to get out later, it's going to cost them $560 a month. That is a big burden. Some parents may have to quit their jobs because they're not going to be able to help them. I called Episcopal Children's Services regarding this problem, and
1 minute.
Huh?
1 minute.
1 minute left?
Yes, of the 3 minutes.
Wow. So you don't want the solutions. What part do you want me to
Well, I
read?
explained that at the beginning, that you had 3 minutes.
Wow. I've got 3 minutes to change what you're going to do to me in a lifetime and to our community. That is really sad. That's really sad. I'll just close.
The board can, I mean, if you have a solution and we say, okay, we can give you additional time, it's something we've done in the past, but we have to agree as a board. And I understand there's 6 more, but, I mean, if she has solutions, we should at least let her speak her solutions.
Well, one of the problems with the high school students in the truancy, to put it all in a nutshell, has to do with cell phones. They sneak them in school, they hide them underneath their pant leg, and the media, they're in this mass media. My granddaughter sometimes doesn't go to sleep till 4 o'clock in the morning, and then they drag into school. It's not just the cell phones, but it's the laptops and it's the media thing that's doing it. So what can we do about it? We could make it so they have to put them in their lockers when they get to school. We can make it so they can have it lunchtime and so on and so forth with that. But we can also have an alternative school, because I've been in counties that have had alternative schools so that the children can graduate and they can work at their own speed. Okay, you do have one.
We have one.
Okay, well, maybe it needs to get a little bigger. But anyway, to fill up some of the children that we're having issues with, they should be disciplined for that, because when they go to college, they're not going to change the times for them. When they get jobs, they still have to get up early in the morning. So what kind of routine are we putting them on? Also, during the academic problem, if I can say real quickly, because this is amazing. Okay, when I attended schools in Bergen County, I was a C student all my life. My parents drove school buses, and they just graduated school. So I didn't have someone teaching me or helping me with homework. So I decided I was going to go to college. In the first semester, I struggled. I said, you know what, these smart kids must know something I don't know. So I got a book out on memory skills, okay? And I read basic memory skills and study skills. I got A's after that. It changed my life. My daughter was failing in school. I taught her that, and the teachers were running at me at the hallway. What did you do to her? Okay? So, and then I had 12 children in church, and they were all failing in school, and they were classified, okay, special education. And I taught them that in an hour and 20 minutes, and do you know, they were declassified within 30 days and put into mainstream school. So I cried for a week. I could not believe that happened. When you're looking at St. Johns County, comparing it to Putnam County, per capita, you would have more educated parents out there, because it costs more to live there than here. So those parents are automatically teaching their children how to study. But what my point is that these children are lacking in these areas of knowing how to even, say, read chapter 5 and you're going to have a test on it tomorrow. Where do they even begin? I used to just read it and then hope that I got all the information. But there's patterns and methods.
You have 1 minute.
With reading and with reading comprehension, memory skills, how to study definitions, how to write essays, how to take notes, and how to study for chapters. This has all got the same pattern method that they could use that would take me a lot longer to explain. But when you teach a child how to, they're more apt to be able to do it and do it very well. in my case and the people that I have taught this to, their performance was extremely better. It wasn't subtle, it was extreme. And I'm just saying that I think we should probably consider the fact that a lot of these children who are from uneducated parents might need to know that, and that would bring our scores up.
Did you tell me, excuse me, did you tell me you had a granddaughter that sometimes won't go to sleep until 4 in the morning?
Right there. Yep, I'm on her.
She's one of our students?
Yes, she is.
Well, if you can't get her to go to sleep, how
Oh,
are you
no,
gonna
she
get-
doesn't live with me. She
Oh.
lives with her mom.
Okay.
I'm the one who yells at them all the
I was just
time, you know, and
curious.
I'm like, you know, I tell her mother, who's educated also, that you need to get on her about that. But when I talk to her, she can tell you stories.
But I agree with you that we have a disproportionate amount of parents that do not have skills to be parents. And that has been a concern that I've had for a long time, which makes us an anomaly when it comes to counties in the state of Florida.
Right.
It doesn't excuse the fact that parents should be parents, but that has been my concern since I was a principal, since I've worked in the school district and been a school board member as well. So, you know, you hit some very solid fundamentals on the book. I mean, we can argue starting times till the day the cows come home. There's good value in starting early, and there's good value in starting late. Just depends on what study you read.
Right.
But I wasn't here when this went on, and I don't know that it would change even if it came back for a vote. But you say you have 19 grandchildren?
Yes, sir.
Well, Ms.
Do they,
Kaminsky,
do they attend our schools?
Not all of them, no. I'm a mailbox grandma for some of them.
Boy, okay, I was just curious.
Kaminsky, I'd just like to say, all of the solutions that you've mentioned, I don't know any of our teachers that don't use those.
Yeah.
I taught for 25 years, and, well, that,
In
one
patterns
shape
of
or manner or
threes,
form where,
that our brains can only
yeah,
take in
most
patterns of
teachers-
threes.
Most teachers use a variety of those, a variety of them.
I
Okay,
haven't
thank you
found
for
that,
your-
but.
Thank you for your input.
Thank you for
Thank
speaking.
you.
Okay.
Okay, next I have Shirley Basil.
Shirley who?
Shirley Basil
Basil.
from Interlochen High School. How are you, Shirley? Hello.
Hi, Shirley.
Board members, Superintendent, Mr. Sorensen, I am Shirley Basil, 114 Swamp Drive, Hawthorne, Florida. My daughter goes to Interlochen Elementary, and as a parent, I am very concerned about this change of hours, not only for my daughter, because I will be able to handle the change between her father and I will be able to manage and find a solution. But not everyone in Putnam County is able to come up with a solution like her father and I are able to do. There's a lot of people, a lot of students, a lot of little kids. A lot of us have seen it, where their parents leave them by the bus stop, 5, 6 years of age, no supervision. And we know we have those parents in Putnam County. We know that. So because we have that type of parent in Putnam County, we should have, I feel like as a mother of a 10-year-old, I feel as a parent that I was dismissed as a parent on this vote. I think that a meeting should have been set for parents to come at a decent hour where all parents could be here, 6 o'clock. Most parents are right now working. They couldn't be here because most of them are still working. I had to come out of my job to come here. So with that being said, I feel that they should have had a meeting for the parents to express, or the guardians also, to express how the parents felt about this change. And only with that taking place, I think that the board should have considered maybe enrichment programs in place. I've called other counties, and counties have enrichment programs into place to help the parents with aftercare, because not all of them can get out of work early enough to pick up their kids. And we're not every county. We're Putnam County. We're a very poor county. And there's other solutions we could have come up with. And I really like for the board to reconsider to vote. It's only appropriate that that you revote and reconsider this vote, because not all the school board members were here at the time of that vote. And I feel that that would be appropriate to set up a meeting where parents can come and express how they feel at a time that all the parents could be here, more convenient time, and revote on this matter. That's how I feel as a parent. Now, as an employee of Putnam County Schools, and like in high school, I have heard students tell me, Ms. Basil, why they're changing the hours. We are now going to come to high school to practice early in the morning before 9 o'clock. So what is the use of changing the hours of the school if the students are going to come into practice beforehand, before school starts? Additionally to that, there's
That's 3 minutes.
okay. Is there any possibility I can get an extra minute?
I know, I'm sorry.
I don't have a problem with it.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Buckles.
not the chairman.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Additionally to that, other concerns that I have is I randomly looked at 3 different bus stops in Putnam County, and I asked the bus driver to give me just random bus stops. She gave me a bus stop in Interlochen first. I did a research on how many sexual predators and sexual offenders were within half a mile to that bus stop, and there was 23 sexual offenders, and nine of them were predators. And you know, that really has me very concerned. I'm very concerned for the safety of our students in Putnam County, and I think that should be the number one concern for us first, should be the concern for safety for all our kids in Putnam County. That's very important to me. And if you could reconsider to vote, please, and listen to the parents and see where we come from with our opinions and our feelings and how this is affecting us, because it's going to affect us all in different ways. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Monica Thomas.
Yeah. I did.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Monica Thomas. I live at 108 East Relham Drive in Palatka. I come to you today not only as a voter and a taxpayer, but also as a parent. I believe that these change in school start times are going to create an unnecessary hardship for families, not only financially, but also for family dynamics as well. Kids having after-school jobs in the after-school hours in the afternoons, also after-school activities, those things are going to be hindered due to the later times of the high school. I also disagree with the way this board has handled the decision-making process for this. Not asking parents for input is just a slap in the face to us. We are who put you here. You are sitting up here in these seats because of our votes. Asking the high school students for input on whether or not they'd like school start times changed and not sending anything to the elementary and middle school students, that's just unacceptable. That's like you don't care about our opinion.
We didn't do that. We didn't send anybody.
It is my understanding that the last board meeting, it was mentioned that a survey was sent out to high school students asking about opinions.
The board didn't do it.
Well, it doesn't matter who did it. A survey got sent out about it, and we were not involved. Middle school and elementary school student parents were not involved in that asking process. Also, I'm here representing parents who aren't able to be here because of ridiculous meeting times. I mean, 3:30 in the afternoon during a weekday. It's a little ridiculous for parents to be able to get off work and to be able to attend. I also have a survey, a petition signed by parents, families, requesting that you reverse the decision of changing school start times. As of today, we've received 1,018 signatures. I have all of them right here. I also have a list of comments that were left by hundreds of parents regarding their feelings about these school start times. I don't know who I need to give these to, but I know I was asked to print them out and bring them with us.
Thank you.
So I just request that you reconsider this. It's affecting a lot more families than you realize. I fortunately am, as well as Ms. Basil, I'm not one of them. This doesn't really affect me and my family that much, but it's the other families that it affects. We will adapt and change, but there's other families who financially are not going to be able to afford to do that. And it's unfortunate that they're not going to be able to do that, and that it seems that you guys really just don't care. So, and I'm done. I've said my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, TJ Smith.
Who?
Weezy.
For what?
Weezy's in the hospital.
Huh?
Weezy's in the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know she was in the hospital.
Yeah, she's in the hospital. I can see you.
TJ Smith, 110 Cat Bay Lane. I come today as a parent also. I'm worried about the safety of the kids. That's a huge concern, but I'm going to go a little different route. We have a lot of farm and ranch kids. I was lucky enough to grow up on a ranch. I got home, worked with my dad in the afternoons. A lot of parents, their kids learn in school. School's very important. My child's in the Excel programs, whatever, but he learns a lot at home too, and it's very important to me. I mean, the way I see it, and I hope a lot of other parents, we don't have them that long, and that extra hour in the afternoons, hour and a half, whatever it may be, during the wintertime, they get home just in time to go to bed or to go inside and out of the dark. And I value my time with mine. I work. I left before daylight this morning to be back here now to do it, and I do that on a regular basis to be back to spend time with him. But like I said, the safety is definitely a big one, but there's so many parents here. Our county's different. I agree with Mr. Buckles. We're different. I don't know where the surveys are taken. I'm assuming probably more urban areas than here. But we're different. This is a different county. For every survey you read one way, you can find another survey another way. It's of any kind, of any subject you want to talk about. But like I said, my main concern is for the students and the parents are able to take time with their kids, and that's taken away from. The day's been sliced in half. There's not enough to do in the morning. There's not enough time to really do with them in the mornings, and there's definitely not enough time to do with them in the afternoons. And like I said, just a little different perspective. But that's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, TJ.
Next, Holly Gallagher.
Hello, good afternoon. Holly Gallagher, Interlochen Elementary School. Also, I wanted to come today to speak in support of the school time changes. I'm a community member, a mama, and a teacher. I want all of Putnam County students to have success in schools, and I feel that the time change for the schools is a step in that right direction. There are ample amounts of research to show how these changes would be beneficial in the ways in which the brains of our youth will benefit. As educators, we are continuously striving to use sound research to support our education efforts. I would love it if as a community could find some positives in change and work to think positively. It will force families to get creative with scheduling. My family just today had to get creative with me being here. My husband, also a teacher, is in a workshop. We have some after-school activities for our children. But as parents, we always have to work through those challenges as a family to make sure that our family schedule can run smoothly. But what if tremendous good and great learning can come from this change? Don't we owe that to the youth of our school district? There are many arguments against this change, and we have heard them before, but the status quo has not been working for our students. And I am proud of the superintendent and our school board members for taking this step in this direction to help our students achieve greater things. Change is scary, and it is not always what we want, but I hope we can all agree that we want the children in our community to get the most out of their education, and I believe that this is a great first step to achieve that. The attitude in which we approach things makes a world of difference, and I would love to see us try to find the positives that can come from this change. I appreciate you for doing what is best for our students and for trying to bring this positive change to our community.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Holly. Next, Lindy Rowe.
Don't be nervous, but you need to pull that microphone down for you.
I'm not going to tell you what Ms. Cummings just said.
I know.
I've heard it before.
Sorry, I didn't.
It's all right. It's actually a benefit sometimes.
It's
yeah.
a compliment.
Good afternoon. My name is Lindy Rowe. I reside at 108 Sunset Point. I am here today also in support of school times change. Each and every one of us, myself included, comes to the discussion of this matter viewing it through our own lens of how we are going to be affected ourselves. I admit through my own lens as a teacher that the idea of making any change that would benefit our students in a positive manner is very appealing to me. In the meeting with the school board members, in the meeting that the school board members voted on this change, the last meeting, Ms. Whitehurst talked about the positive changes that may come about through this, including greater attentiveness on the part of the students, higher attendance, and higher test scores. People may wonder why in the world that we are so concerned about test scores all the time. The fact of the matter is that in the education system worldwide, it's driven by testing. I personally wish that that were not the case, and I do realize that life is more than passing of tests. But until we vote at a higher level, our politicians at the state and nationwide, where they limit or lessen our testing, it's the hand of cards that we have to play. Right now, as of what I can tell, we sit number 66 of 67 in the state of Florida, and so I would venture to say that we should possibly look at some changes. I understand that people have different reasons for opposing the changes. I know that it's idealistic to think that we would all agree and that this would solve all the problems. It's not going to. However, I would ask that you think back to why you voted these members in. And the promises that they made regarding your child's education. They promised to do everything that they could in their power to give your children the best education that they could. And I stand here today believing that they are truly and honestly trying to do that. I hope that in the near future, when the decision of the matter is finally closed, whenever that is, that we move forward together, I echo this, as a team to bring the best education that we can to our students in Putnam County. Really and truly, I believe that the only way forward out of this poverty is through a better education, and that's not going to happen overnight. There's going to be hiccups along the way, but I think we're going to do greater things if we take risks. It's been said before, it's worth saying it again. If we keep doing the same thing, we're going to get the same results.
1 minute, Lindy.
Thank you. So I suggest, and I am here to say, let's take a chance and make a change. And I'm not willing to be number 66. I don't know any teacher or educator that is, and that I hope that you are not willing to be number 66 either. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindy.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, your 30 minutes is up, and if you have any additional ones, you would need to
Yes.
get approved from the
Board,
board.
we're going to need to vote to extend our public comment period.
I'd like to make a motion that we extend the
I'll
public
second it.
comment period to accommodate 3 minutes for each one of the papers that are in as of now, because we keep getting them in, but we'll
And Mr.
close them
I'll
off
second
now
it.
and everybody can.
All in
talk.
favor? Aye. Opposed? The motion passes. We'll continue with Mr. Mark Modell for a first book update. A little change of scenery here.
Off topic.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to need 3 minutes. Mark Modell, Putnam Federation Teachers President, and I reside at 115 Vintage Lane, Palatka, Florida. And I'm here with the first book update. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop because you may be wondering, where's that truckload of books, right? Well, we started looking at the calendar for the spring, and it's really, really busy in the spring around here. So with that in mind, and with the summer being a great opportunity to really reach out to community groups and make sure that every community group that works with children is involved in this, we're moving first book distribution to the fall. And so I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop on that. But I emailed Mr. Cerency today with something I wanted him to email out to all the teachers, see if we can get the teachers all signed up before the summer. And I'll reach out to maintenance over the summer, and in the fall we'll catch bus drivers and food service. And I'll be reaching out to all the community groups over the summertime and really getting everybody that I can, and I'm hoping the media will help me put my email out there so that community leaders who work with these groups can contact me and let me know who they are and what they're with, and I can get them all the information we need. But the fall will be a better time for this just because it is really, really busy. I know you guys are busy. You know how it is. But so in the fall, we're going to get that truckload of books here. Just want to give you an update.
Thank you, Lauren, for that update
Appreciate
for
that.
this fabulous program. Okay, next we have Lindsay McKinney.
Oh my goodness, that is Lindsey Bramden.
Don't start picking on me now. How are you guys today? I'm Lindsay McKinney. I reside in East Palatka, and I'm the owner of Academy of Rising Stars. We are a child care facility and after-school program, and I am coming today just to kind of voice different opinions, and I am not for or against the times, as I think we are definitely in need of change. So I am very wishy-washy on how I feel about them, just because they bring so many different things to the table for so many different people. I would definitely say that the school board time is very hard for working people. I am missing out on teaching my baby class right now, and it's very hard for me to leave to come to the meetings just to be in the loop as to what's going on. And I think even throwing out a later meeting every so often to run over things would be a great idea for people that are at work. Voting on schedules is something that's very important. I am a state-funded facility as well, and so when I send in my VPK paperwork, there's been times where the schools changes times, scheduling, things like that, and I've already submitted everything into the state. I have to go back and resubmit all of that paperwork. So that can be very frustrating. So as you were saying earlier, the earlier we know what's going on, not just parents, but other people in other realms of education, it's very important to us. My facility cannot operate on getting paid from the state in the back end, which is 3 months after we've already rendered our services. So I have a deadline, which is in June, to submit all of my paperwork for the 2017-18 school year. And if I don't get that in, I don't get paid at the beginning of the month. I get paid 3 months behind, and I can't operate that way. Transportation, it was voted on with the school times. All of the elementary schools are starting at the exact same time. I operate one van, and I cannot make it to all of the schools. I've operated 2 vans 4 years ago for one whole school year, and at the end of that year, I sold the second van because I might as well have just depleted the program because it became completely non-profitable for my business. And so we're trying to do our due diligence in helping get children to school, picking them up from school, and the teachers that are waiting on us at our last pickup are having to wait 30 to 45 minutes on us, and that's not fair to those teachers either. So just considering a change in all of the elementary schools in the city, they're all starting at the exact same time, and that's very hard on us as child care providers, especially with not getting any bus help whatsoever.
1 minute. Yeah, sorry.
We don't service elementary school kids. We have an abundance of parents calling us, will you be able to take middle schoolers to school, that type of thing. That's an issue for us. We start at 2:45 in the day with our dance program. I try to be done by 6:30 every day. My high schooler kids, it's going to put them there dancing later, and us doing, I have a 3 and 4-year-old at home. I don't want to work later than 6:30. Most dance studios are open till 8:30 and 9 o'clock. I can't do that. They need to go home, they need family time, they need dinner, they need bed. I believe research shows that sleep hours are important for all children, 5 and up, not just high schoolers. So I consider if we're going to start school later, research shows that even the little ones need the sleep. So we should be trying to do something after 8 o'clock for everybody, because research shows that they all need the extra sleep, not just the high schoolers. And I think ultimately it comes down to parents enforcing bedtime, academic requirements, behavioral requirements, and there being repercussions to your children, because if they don't enforce it at home, we're not going to get it in the school system, whether they're coming to school at 9 or they're coming to school at 7:45. So, thank you very much.
Tell Justin hello.
JJ Pennington.
JJ. Hello, JJ.
Hello, I'm JJ Pennington. I live out in Barden, 121 Providence Church Road. I'm here to talk to you about the time changes. I have a little one in elementary school. She goes to the charter school, so I'm not really affected as much with her about the time change because they're not changing their hours. I've been informed today. Not sure if that's correct. I hope so. But the high school change is going to affect my family dramatically. My son Cooper is almost 18. He'll be a senior this next coming year. We rely on him to have an after-school job. He right now works at a feed store that only stays open until 6 o'clock. So he still has that time from the time he gets home to get his homework done, his chores done, and all of that, before bedtime. being that he is a 17-year-old, you tell him to go to bed at 10 o'clock. You may look in there at 11 o'clock and he's fiddling. You have to take the phone away. So I agree, we have to parent our kids in a way that they get that extra sleep that they need. However, with this school time, it's going to make him, he's going to have to quit his job or go get a job at some fast food place that he's not going to get home till 11, 12 o'clock at night. Because unfortunately, but we rely on his job to pay for his insurance for his truck, help pay with gas, help pay the bills. And I think that our community, a lot of our community, do rely on our kids' help with that. And it's, it's sad. I wish we could all be rich and we didn't have to worry about that kind of thing. But we do. And with him being almost 18, just to be straight up with you, the words have come out of his mouth that he will quit school if he has to keep his job. And he's not academically strong like my younger one in the fact he doesn't excel academically. He struggles as it is, and I'm very proud of him for B's and C's, to be honest with you. But if he is pushed, and if this goes through, I'm either going to have to do the homeschooling, so pull him out of school system so he can keep his job, or I'm afraid he's going to quit, and I just don't want that for our kids. I've heard that from, I'm one of the leaders of the high school bass tournament team here in town. So many of those kids are going to be seniors this year, and I have 10 kids that told me we will quit school, Miss JJ, and it's sad. It breaks my heart. And even if you could just please reconsider the high school times, just please reconsider leaving them as is, if possible. He does not, people have talked about the work, getting off early for the work program. His academics will not allow that because he's not at that. He's right at a 2.0 or right below.
Well, he can still do that.
I was told in a meeting yesterday he couldn't at the high school. So that's another thing. So,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Tell Rudy hello.
I will.
Okay.
Okay, next I have Sandra D. Causey Lagachi.
Hi, my name's Sandra D. Causey Lagachi, 900 Orange Avenue, Crescent City, Florida. First of all, I'd like to thank you for voting to extend the meeting. And I come to you today not about the school hours. In fact, I thought long and hard of whether I should even bring this to the school board. But I've always believed in speaking up and speaking for what is right. And my late father, Dee Causey, who passed away in 2012, taught me to never give up and to persevere. And I believe that what I'm speaking about today is the right thing, not only for my daughter, but for other students who might experience this problem. I was a graduate of Crescent City Junior High School in 1998. Both of my parents were. And I was also a former teacher of the Putnam County School District since 1997 until I had to take over my dad's farm when he passed away. So I'm coming to you as a former teacher, as a former student, and now as a parent. My daughter and my son have both been in the public school system in Crescent City for their entire school career. My daughter has completed all of her graduation requirements, and her last year, her senior year, which is this year, she took English 4 online at Florida Virtual. I had no idea and never even fathomed that she would not be able to walk with her own class in her graduation ceremony. Otherwise, I might have thought this through differently. Graduation is supposed to be a time of excitement, and I'm sure everyone in this audience supports graduation. As a farmer, you plant a seed. You plant a seed, and you want to see that seed come to harvest. You take care of it, you prepare it. And this came to a great surprise to me. So when I was told no by the district, we even called the superintendent twice. We were told he would call back. I never received a call back except from the aide. But if this does not affect Morgan, even if it doesn't change anything with her being able to walk with her own class that she's been with forever, maybe it will change and make the district think about other students in the future. And I do think that it's, as a parent, you want to see your child graduate.
And what was the reason she couldn't walk?
It was a district decision because she was apparently taking English 4 online at Florida Virtual. She was given that option to either do that or she could stay at school and be an aide for 6 periods. And she wanted to have a job, get a job and make money and also take the course online.
Okay, so did she finish the course?
Yes, ma'am, she finished the course, in fact, 3 weeks ago or more.
Did she withdraw from the school system?
She was apparently you have to withdraw from the school system. I mean, from the high school, I was told to attend Florida Virtual because she was.
Not for one class.
Well, I was told by the principal and also the guidance counselor at the high school. And I love all of them. I'm not coming up here to start drama or to cause any confusion. I'm coming up here because I feel strongly about this for Morgan and for other students.
Sandy, you're
So
fine.
she didn't take any other classes at Crescent City High School? She didn't go there all day and take the English at home?
She fulfilled all her requirements. She only took the English 4 online. So she's been in the school system her entire life, and the very people,
Is this the cohort with which she is supposed to graduate?
this is the class in which she is supposed to graduate. Yes, ma'am.
I don't
If we could set up time tomorrow and meet, and I had one of my representatives call you and talk to you about that. But we can set up a time to meet tomorrow, if you'll see us after the meeting, so we
Sure.
can investigate what's going on.
Okay. Thank you.
And it's a point of order, if board attorney, if the board has any comment to say, you know what, if there is a policy, we want to override it, is that even a possibility at
You
this
can,
point?
the school board can override its policy. Oh, and I'm not the attorney.
That is true.
You told me, you told me to get the legal counsel. Okay. Go ahead,
What
Charlie.
David said is correct.
Okay.
You can
She can go
override
back
it.
to school and be
So,
I'm not aware of a particular procedure in place. I will certainly research that too, but
but it's Thursday and today's Tuesday, so
When
we
is the
don't have
graduation
time.
ceremony?
Thursday.
Yeah, I don't.
Well, you
I-
need to contact,
I'm
the
completely at a
principal
loss for
told you
words.
this?
JT,
Yes,
as a
yes,
principal,
ma'am.
you know any reason that a kid couldn't do
I
it?
think Dr. Shelby, or, I mean, we could, that's why I want to meet privately. If we could talk
Okay.
privately about this, I don't
The
want
board
to.
needs to be aware of what's going on. I would like to be aware.
And that's exactly why I'm here
Remember,
today,
I
because we have reached out to several people, and I was told it was a district decision.
I remember when you were in elementary school, I remember when you taught, and I appreciate you coming, but I think that board we're a self-judiciating body, we can override our policies
Let her
anytime.
walk, let her walk.
I mean,
Oh,
there's
we
no
don't know
dis-
details.
We
There
gotta,
could be
I mean,
more
we
to
need
it
to
than-
know all the
No.
details, but if
Yeah.
this is the only reason,
It was a
That you're aware of.
district decision. She was not a
a
problem.
district decision or a
Yes, ma'am.
principal decision?
A district decision, I was told by the principal and the guidance counselor.
Recess.
Are you aware?
I don't want to, and Charlie can talk about this, I don't want y'all to make a decision without having all the information.
But-
And I think Charlie's suggesting, well, go ahead, you wanted to.
right. I think maybe we should take a recess. Obviously, for your daughter's sake.
Yeah, because
If
it's
anything is
Thursday.
private information that should not be disclosed in their public forum.
I understand.
For reasons why the district has made this decision. I think the board members would appreciate that, and you
That's,
would appreciate that too.
that's perfectly fine. She has no truancy record, no
Ask Rick who she should.
Could we wait
no
until the end of the
referrals
meeting?
or anything.
Can we wait till the end of the meeting?
Well, we could wait,
Wait till the end of the meeting. Yeah,
wait till the end, and Dr. Shelby is here. This is Crescent City
Like
High.
to have a little break.
Okay, this is perfect timing. We can do it now.
Yes.
Yeah, we can-
Okay, if Dr. Shelby could come and talk to us.
Okay, so are we, How are we recessing?
Do you want to
Anybody
recess
leave?
now, or do you want to address this at the end of the meeting?
I would like to do it now.
No?
I'd like to recess now because I need a break
You making
anyway.
a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we recess for 10 minutes.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay,
10-minute
we're,
recess.
we're in a
We'll get it
10-minute
straight.
recess.
We have left. There is a huge difference between surveys and data. Our decision has been based on data. Years and years and years and years of collected data from all over the country. I beg to differ with you, Mr. Buckles. You can't find data to refute this. You can find a survey to refute it, and you can always find a survey saying this and a survey saying that.
You didn't know what we're talking about,
But
sorry.
this data is irrefutable about school times, and that's just what I want to say. Data versus surveys. They're a whole different ball of wax, and we based our decision on data, not surveys.
Madam Chairman, can I make a comment on our meeting?
Absolutely.
Yeah, recommendation. The student in question is actually an adult, and there are some confidentiality issues that we do not want to bring out in a public forum.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask that the board defer that to the administration to meet with the individual, the 18-year-old adult student. Tomorrow, we're going to ask that student come in, and we will meet and render a decision at that time. Because we don't want to bring out information in a public meeting that,
So we won't have any say-so with that.
I mean, you can say whatever you want to, but I'm just saying we cannot present information to you.
Yeah, I understand that.
So you can make a decision because it is confidential.
Okay.
Right.
Here's, in a nutshell, Kathy was following, let me follow up just briefly on what Kathy said. There is research that goes either way, and the best research that I liked as a principal was the early in the morning, but I never could really accommodate that because of bus transportation and in some of the places. So you're right, there's good research on that. The other would be, I'm not certain that this is something that administration can arbitrarily do if it comes to the board. This may be a board decision. Now, I have seen the board make decisions in past, I'm talking about a child walking at
Oh, okay.
graduation. We had a guidance counselor years ago, and I'm not gonna call any names, commit suicide over the board allowing a child to walk at graduation. And
But
I'm just telling you, I still feel like this is a board decision. I'd like to hear from the attorney on whether we can allow this person, even if they've reached the age of 18.
I echo the superintendent's remarks that this is an adult. I would have liked to have seen the adult come. Obviously, for confidentiality purposes, we have an obligation to keep private those matters that are concerned to that family. I am not aware of any statute that would prevent the student from walking based on the information I've heard so far. So as my obligation to the board is, it's difficult at this 11th hour to make a decision with all of the facts on the table. The board does not have all the facts. I do not have all the facts. The administration knows a lot more than we do to be able to make a reasoned decision. Having said that, if it's the board's desire to take up a vote, I think you are within your legal right to do that. I do, however, worry about what type of precedent we're setting because we don't know the facts. And later when all the facts are out and we have still voted a particular way or another, that does have some precedential effect for how things will be handled in the future. So it's a tough call. I think you are within your right to have a vote if you so chose to do that. But there are consequences to that.
Mr. Douglas, I hate to disagree with you, but I used to do a gym pageant all the time. I just don't think it's the board's job. Now, I'm the one elbowing my way in all the time. It's the board's job. It's the board's job to handle money. This is administration. That's number one. I don't think it's our job to make this call, number one. And number two, the precedent it's going to set Next year at this time, we will have another room full of people of parents whose kids aren't walking, and they're all gonna want us, without evidence, to say they can walk.
Well, the superintendent will always be involved in who can walk and who can't walk. That is a yearly rite of passage.
That's right.
And this is not a precedent, it's just been a long time since it's been done. It is such a slap in the face of a school person who has recommended it sometimes that it has resulted in one of our counselors many years ago committing suicide, and it was a horrible thing. Now, I'm not going to go into any detail on that, but I would urge, if we're not going to take a vote to allow this to occur, I would urge that the superintendent meet with whoever he needs to meet with, and as rapidly as possible, come up with a solution.
I agree.
And
I feel the same way.
A firm decision.
Yeah.
I would also add that I'm not aware of any legal effect of walking across a stage for graduation. It is a ceremonial event for parents and family to be able to
It's a
mark the
privilege, not a
end
right.
of a career, K through 12, and she won't get it back. There's one graduation with her classmates.
It is a privilege.
So a lot rides on what happens between now and Thursday.
And I would just say, from the board perspective, as a board member, if there is any such policy that we overlooked, whether it's unenrollment and re-enrollment in Florida virtual and some kind of reason, if there's no, then that's something we have the ability to override on a special
Exactly.
circumstance. And that's why I wanted it to be brought to us, because it was a long process. And if statutorily, you haven't found anything that would keep this person from walking across the stage, this is a one lifetime event. You get one chance at it. So I feel strongly that if there's something we have in our policy or procedure that would keep that gives us the right to override it. So I do not want the meeting tomorrow to be, well, school board policy says this, and this is the reason, this little bit of thing, and we don't have a loophole to get you around. So that's why I'm saying, as a board, if we have something that just has been overlooked, whether or not she unenrolled and re-enrolled, and that's, I feel like some kind of, it's our opportunity
I
to
agree.
make it right.
And I also would ask the superintendent and the administrators to be kind. That's all. From the board, we're asking, be kind, that's all, maybe, whatever. But
Let me just, is it a disciplinary issue?
I would not feel comfortable for the administration to
right.
make any
I just-
representations.
Yeah, they could be privy to things that we're not. And-
Right.
And this situation that I talked of years ago was a situation like this. It came right down to the wire the night of graduation, and it resulted in a horrible situation. So I hope that the superintendent can find a way to resolve this in a good manner.
I'm going to ask that the student who is an adult contact my office as soon as possible, and we will go from there.
yeah, the mom's still here.
Do we need any follow-up?
Does she want to speak again?
And could you, after the,
Do you want to
y'all
speak,
have meet,
Sandy?
would you please let us know what's going on?
Thank you.
Sandy wants to say something else, I think. Can you come up here and talk?
Well,
No, this is valuable. This is your
Children are
daughter.
valuable.
And if she's a parent or the guardian listed, is that not the right? You don't have like rights to your.
not when they're 18.
When they're 18.
Okay, gotcha.
When I came here today, I was not aware that she needed to be 18 or her butt would be here. She would have been here. It was a choice that she made because she was told no and no and no and no and no. And so she just didn't want to put herself through another no. So, and I as a teacher feel very strongly about that as well for other students. And I don't think you're going to have a room full of people at the last minute, because I think there was something that happened, a breakdown in communication that occurred. And she has been a Crescent City Raider her entire life. And that's what I want her to be. And she does not have any discipline problems. She never had a referral. And I have no problem with anyone saying anything about her out loud, even though it's confidential. I have no problem. I have nothing to hide. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Is she allowed to come to the meeting tomorrow?
With the daughter's permission, I would
Yeah.
think.
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't wanna.
Okay. We'll move on now to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I'd like to pull item D3
Sandy, we're going.
for removal from the agenda.
Thank you.
Not for separate consideration,
Right.
but it has been removed.
Okay, do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, we're changing. I'd like to make a motion that we remove and eliminate item number D3 from the agenda, since none of us are going to the Tampa conference.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
Motion has passed.
Okay, I have nothing else to pull.
Okay, Ms. Cummings?
G10.
Mr. Buckles?
No, ma'am.
Oh, I'm going to that, okay.
Ms. Gilliard.
I am good. Mrs. Odom took care of mine in the workshop.
Right, and she
You
took care of all my
answered mine.
questions as
Yes.
well. So,
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda minus G10.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
I think we have Ms. France.
Yeah, actually, I just talked to the board attorney, and I would ask why, because I asked him if he was given the opportunity to do this training, and he was not asked to do it. And I know that we did have a training very similar about 2 years ago, so I wanted to ask you why you felt it was so necessary to spend such an exuberant amount of money when we didn't ask our own board attorney to do this training. It is $3,900 for a 6-hour training.
Okay. Ms. France, could you address that, please, since I know you had contact?
Exuberant or exorbitant?
Actually, this is one that Helen did before she left. And this is the person that we've used previously. You are right, Mrs. Cummings. We've used Mr. Fiedleholtz before to do social media and liability training. He had, I think it was probably 2 years ago that he did one for everyone. We do an administrative kind of boot camp of training. The first this year, it's going to be the first full week of June, where we set up trainings that we want the administrators to have. And this was one that the superintendent wanted us to focus on as well. And so we had contacted him to come back in. He is an expert at this.
I know that at FSBA, on several occasions, I've attended sessions on this that were fairly comprehensive and only took an hour.
Yeah. I've done 2 or 3 also.
Yeah,
Every time we have a session, we usually get an opportunity. So
Right.
He's the best.
I would just ask that we would reconsider and ask our board attorney to maybe offer that, since it was just two years ago. And it would be something that the board attorney would be able to accomplish.
Well, with a lot of hours researching and preparing to give a course, I mean,
Well,
you can't
I
just
feel
get up
like
and-
he's got I mean, we pay for his state, membership for attorneys. So I feel that they have the resources, just as FSBA has the resources to do it. They offer it to us twice a year.
There's probably a PowerPoint up there.
Yeah.
So,
And is there any current litigation that, or a reason why it has to be done again in 2 years? Is there some kind of precedence to why we feel this training is, I mean, I would like to see the money spent on reading and writing and arithmetic.
Well, I would.
But that's,
Oh,
unless
Sandy
there's
wants to
some
say
kind of
something.
reason that I don't, it's a,
$3,900.
for 6 hours, that's $650 an hour plus travel.
Ooh, I need to be in that job.
Sandy, your turn.
So I don't care what he's doing.
Okay, I feel fairly well that Charlie can handle this, of course, because I taught him everything he knows. in 5th grade at Kelly Smith.
Then I know he's
But what
prepared.
I'm saying is June 6th. That might be cramp and crunch time for him, but I certainly say from here forward, after this one, that Charlie take this upon himself and instruct us. That's, give him time to put it together, because we don't want him to, be pushed into this and have to do it. But from here on, I'd like for us to look
So
at
on
him
future,
to do it.
future legal matters
Yeah,
like
with
this,
the
for legal
liability,
training,
he can handle
you're
it.
asking that we first check with Charlie before we consider any other
I'd love
outside.
for that to happen.
I just-
I'd love for that to happen.
Yeah,
Listen,
let him bid on it.
I'd like to say that that gentleman is about as good as they get, and I feel very strongly. I know state superintendents are trained. I know it's common around the state to train people in how to deal with the media, in particular if you have some kind of disaster on your campus, and it keeps the board from being exposed to a lot of liability.
This is social media.
Social media as well.
It's partly
It's part
social,
of
but it also has to do with when you are interviewed by the news, how you handle
They
yourself.
film you
I've
and
been in the
they ask you
training, so
questions.
it is.
So-
But I know he can do it, given the time.
But
And
you
so
wanna-
that's why I said, definitely, after this session, we consider Charlie to do our.
We consider Charlie, however, that's not part of his contract.
Right.
So you're paying an hourly fee for him to prepare and then give.
Right.
So,
he may not even want to do it.
exactly. and he
Right,
may not
right,
even
that's what
want
I'm
it.
saying, we give him the
But we can at least consider and talk to him
June 6th
for
is
future
just too
reference
close.
after this.
Yeah, he's not.
Yes.
If you're okay with this training, then
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this training.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go back
Charlie's good, you got it.
to our regular agenda. Nothing else was pulled.
Emergency.
So have we already voted on all
Yes.
the other ones?
Emergency.
Okay, now we're going into emergency session. We have several items on there, if I can find that.
Just one?
One item,
Oh, I thought you sent us two.
Armstrong Roofing.
No, once the agenda.
Oh, it's all one thing. Okay, this is emergency item, contract with Armstrong Roofing Incorporated for Palatka High School. Justification explanation presented as an emergency item as work needs to begin as soon as possible.
I make a motion, Madam Chairman, that we approve this contract.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, now we're going to go back on to our regular agenda. Y'all got me rattled.
Yeah, we're back in
We're out of
regular session.
emergency session, back into our regular agenda. And it is now time for new business. The first item under new business is discussion, input, and action of budget amendments for March 2017.
Hello.
Hey, Rhonda.
Looks like we just saw you.
Yes, you did. These are the budget amendments for March of 2017. And the general fund, we had an increase of revenue of $199,806.53. 13,377 of that were the two charter schools capital outlay transferred in to appropriate and give to the charter schools. We received a check from State Farm Insurance for bus accident loss recovery, $1,604.53. We received $200 for a facilities rental from Melrose Elementary School and appropriated that money back to the school. And we received the appropriation of school recognition funds of $184,625. There was no change in fund balance of the general fund. In the capital projects funds, we had that same $13,377 brought into the capital projects fund that we then had to transfer to general to pay the charter schools. School food service, there was no change in revenue or fund balance, just various budget changes as the school food service funds needed to change to different objects to spend. In the special revenue fund, we had an increase of $515,300.63. One item was a roll forward for Title I, Part A Basic of $95,291.63, and there was a budget increase in the school improvement grant of $420,009. In the internal service funds, which is NEFAC and group insurance, there was no change in revenue or fund balance, but several amendments were done in various objects as the NEFAC funds needed to change objects to make purchases. Any questions?
That was a lot of information.
Thank you, Rob.
I tried to do it
Rhonda.
fast.
Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Thank you.
What you do is amazing. Next item up for discussion. Oh, gosh.
I make a motion, we approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The second item is discussion, input, and action on agreement with Florida Power and Light Energy Services Incorporated.
I'm gonna ask Mr. Bowen to speak to that if you have questions. He's met with them.
Right, and so FPL has already been here and they've done the workshop. I think this was where it is on the agenda, not on the consent agenda, but up for discussion because you guys wanted to actually have the board attorney take a look at the contract. I'm assuming that.
Yeah, we did.
that is-
We looked at it and made some suggested amendments, and those were reviewed by FP&L and approved, and we have come to terms on an agreement that everyone is happy with, so it is good to go.
Madam
The
Chair, I
board is
make
good
a
to go.
motion that we approve.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion passes. Yay. We're so excited about this.
Yes.
Okay, we're on to our board member reports, and I'm going to start this week with Ms. Gilliard down to my left.
Okay, I'll start with middle school, 8th grade honors. They had a very beautiful program. The students were well behaved. That was the day after they had the heat exhaustion, where 12 of the students were transported to Putnam Community Hospital. It was a field day activity. I was fortunate enough to be there. I serve as one of the chaplains at Putnam Community Hospital. And so I went in and put eye on every one of the students. And Putnam Community Medical Center is to be commended. The CEO was actually there in the emergency room hallways, in the triage, working with our children, and the nurses, and even the ones that were hollering because they were putting in an IV to get them situated. And so I want to commend Miss Wesley, Miss Morris, and Miss Missick. These were staff members from Miller Middle. They were there. They had telephone numbers. Even the hospital set up a little station for them to actually start calling parents and making sure that the parents knew that their children were there and that they were fine. One parent showed up that was a paramedic. He just happened to be taking his daughter some shoes to run in, and he immediately jumped in and started assisting. So they're just to be commended how they handled things. Then yesterday, I witnessed Miss Nikki Hawthorne and Miss Wendy Mason run a meeting for us to get ready to start our summer feeding, and they are to be commended for an excellent job. She said last summer they fed they served over 36,000 meals with volunteers all over. And so this year, my church is serving. We're out of the hot sun. We used to be at Hank Ryan Park, but thank God we're now in a place where it's cool. And then, I'm going quickly. Kudos to Q.I. Roberts inaugural graduation, their first class, their charter members. I mean, it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. The young people, it just does your heart proud. Anytime you can see young people excelling, just like they were at the Korean technical superstars, these are our proud moments when our children show us that they get it and they appreciate what they've done, because you should have seen them come across. We had one, I guess he had been on the football team. When the other team scores, you have to do push-ups. He jumped down and did a couple of push-ups there. But it's all good because it's in good taste. At least we're not at a detention center somewhere looking at them. They are doing something worthwhile. And kudos to Central Putnam Ministerial Association for their baccalaureate service. This was open to all of the students. I did see one student there from Interlochen High, and I didn't see one from Crescent City, but we had Palaca, we had Edge, and because they're all our children, and it was just great. So to Mrs. Piazza Woods, Mrs. Baggs, and to their staff, they are to be commended for a job well done. And that's it.
Don't look at me. My turn?
Yes, it's your turn.
I just build on what Sandy said about Q.I. Roberts. That was like $2 million or more in scholarships have been offered to those graduates.
Yes.
That is incredible amount of money. And when you look at the other high schools as well, it's going to be staggering for this year. Number one and foremost in my mind is safety at graduation. Never fails that in the last few days or in the week to follow, we lose a child in some type of horrible thing. And I would like to urge everyone to pray to all the parents can keep their kids grounded and know that they're going to be doing the right things. But it's always been my worst time as a school superintendent or a school board member or a parent when I had to worry about the last week of school after seeing some of the things. It's a joyful time, but it can turn into a horrible time. So just parents, watch your children. Next, I would like to, Christy Banks Lowe is outside, but she was very instrumental. Christy, I was talking about you. She was very instrumental in the arrest or the investigation that was in the Palatka paper today of the sexual assault person, and we can't underscore enough how bad it is out there, and it is bad. Whether you believe it or not, you know, the numbers don't lie. We've got some horrible problems everywhere, not just Putnam County, but we've got our share of sexual predators and molesters and people who try to solicit children. So the superintendent's been talking with the sheriff's office about how we can, you know, do things better around bus stops and maybe up some patrols, and I'm very pleased to hear that. And that's first and foremost one of our biggest problems is those unattended hours when those kids are in the neighborhood or after school or before school. So just wanted to throw that out there. And the administrative training we spoke about a while ago, I don't know that you can possibly train your administrators enough, because their job is routine chaos. Every day one thing occurs and then you got to wait on the next thing to occur, and it's just continual. You can't just concentrate on doing your job. You got to put out fires and everything else that comes up that have absolutely nothing to do with teaching and reading, writing, and arithmetic. So with that, I'll pass it on to Ms. Cummings.
Okay. I do, again, I wanted to commend, I went to the hospital when those children, and it was it was just done really well, and I appreciate all the energy given to those students that were scared. They were just scared, and I appreciate Mr. Weaver going out to investigate and make sure that everything was done correctly, and thank you, Dr. Cernsey, because those are scary things. As a parent, as a board member, when you hear things, you just immediately think, what could have happened? But I appreciate those kind of proactive, we try so hard to be proactive, and then you're reactive because you don't expect things like that to happen, but I think we all learn and experience as we go. Of course, graduation, praying for no rain this week, and good times with that. And as we prepare for next school year, I know there's been some discussion again, and I really would like the board attorney and the superintendent maybe to make a report on the Campbell building. I know we've had some discussion, and also the agreement, the MOU that was St. Johns County, and moving forward with that, with the vocational. I just feel like we need, before you know it, school's going to start again, and those are two things that keep weighing on my head as far as, you know, unresolved legal issues. So I do appreciate.
I was going to ask Madam Chairman if I could speak real quick to this.
Oh, it was your turn.
Okay, I won't if you won't let me, but I mean,
I said of course.
So it has become obvious that the state funding from the workforce development, that the state's not going to send our share to Putnam County, and that St. Johns County will get it again. And I think that's around $400,000, you know, but I think we're going to, I know the superintendent's already planning and working toward trying to upgrade our options with First Coast Tech, and I spoke with him about it because I followed it out of Tallahassee, and it won't change this year, so maybe in the future it will, but this is a wake-up call to St. Johns County. We want them to do a really good job, and if they can show us what we want to see, then I'll be real optimistic about that.
And the last thing was the GP initiative, the industrial. We keep hearing about that. I would love to have another, if that's going to happen next school year, if Ms. Huff could make a presentation, because that is exciting. I talk to parents every day that need opportunities, alternative. They're not all college ready. They're not all college motivated. So what do we have to offer our kids? So I really feel like my personal goal this year is going to be focusing on that vocational, what can move along these students who have different paths for their future rather than just college. So
We can ask Ms. Huff to present at the next meeting. If
that'd
that's
be
good.
great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Huff, for volunteering.
Along those lines, Nikki, I went to a Palatka High School STEM presentation. And it was with GP, they judged, and these high school kids made this machine thing that really works. I didn't have a clue, but it was just amazing. It was really, really, really amazing. I was so impressed, just amazing.
Their partnership with GP.
And they're in partnership with GP. GP funded it, and it was tens of thousands of dollars for the parts for this thing that's actually going to work in GP's
Yeah,
plant.
they're gonna use it at the plant.
Wow. Just amazing. IHS has its own baccalaureate, and I know this was supposed to be countywide, but you know we fill up a church. We always have 30, 40, 50, Mr. Bowling knows too, 60 kids at our baccalaureate. So we did again this year, and it was very, very nice. I went to the IHS scholarship morning. Wow, how many scholarships are given out, and by local people. Every year it seems like there's another little scholarship given out by this West Putnam group or this family or that family, and it just keeps going on and going on. And last but not least, I was invited by one of our wonderful bus drivers to go on a bus ride. And I actually met her at the bus compound. First, we picked up middle school kids who were so well behaved, I could not believe it. I'm telling you, the students, and then we did a busload of elementary school kids, and it was the same thing. I was thinking, these kids, it's gonna drive me crazy. It didn't, the bus drove me crazy. It's loud, it's noisy, it had no air. 103 degrees on the bus that day with no air. I know.
Not good.
But it was an amazing experience. This bus driver said she has invited numerous times superintendents, not you, but others, and board members, and I'm the first one that ever did it. So I'm inviting you other board members to go on a bus
I'll go on a
ride.
bus.
You just may learn something. And
But
it's-
you gotta tell them, because if you try to get on their bus, they're like, we don't know you.
Oh, no, she invited me.
I
She
know,
asked
but
me.
that's good. They're safe. They do not mess around.
Yeah.
If they don't know you, you better
I've
just.
been on
Right,
lots
well,
of bus
sure.
trips.
Yeah.
I have not been on that one though.
Okay, and
glad
that's,
you did
I'm,
them.
I'm very excited about this board and this superintendent and what we're doing. I'm more optimistic and good excited than I've ever been as a board member in my 12 years of service. So let's just keep it up, everybody. Your administration is great too. Everybody's just pulling together for the right things. I'm very, very, very happy and optimistic.
Okay, it's my turn and I want y'all to be quiet, please. The school teacher's coming out in me.
I thought you were a counselor.
I was a counselor too.
I don't remember you teaching much.
As they've all said, the last couple of weeks have been the culmination of a lot of hard work and not just by our students, but by our teachers as well. I've been able to witness this by going to all the awards ceremonies. There's so many of them, we can't attend all of them because on some nights there are 3 or 4 and we can only be in one place at one time. But I have witnessed many award ceremonies and graduations, and all of them have been so special. But to me, the one that's always the most special is the one at E.H. Miller. And I was lucky enough to attend that today. And again, there wasn't a dry eye in the place, and it was just a beautiful thing. And I would like to commend the principal, Mary Beth Hedstrom, and the assistant principal, Jane Ford, for the wonderful job that they did and do at that school. This past Friday night, I have to mention this, I attended the graduation ceremony of QI Roberts Junior Senior High School. It was their first graduation, and it was very special to me because that is the school that has been named after my uncle, QI Roberts. And Joseph Roberts, my cousin, was there to receive the plaque. Irvin and Norleen were out of the country, so Joseph came and did a very special job accepting that and saying a few words. It was a beautiful ceremony. Those kids are amazing. They're adorable. There's a great school out there, and Mary Piazza and Kim Baggs do a wonderful job. Before I close, I've got something I want to say, and I want to address my feelings about the school start times. I know this has been an emotional topic
for those who are against it and those who support it. All of you stand strong in your convictions, as I do. I was elected because I made a promise, a solemn promise, to always do what I think is best for the students of Putnam County. And that is why I stand firm in my belief that we have to make this change. Our students will still have the opportunity to work in the afternoons, to play in sports in the afternoons, and to do after-school activities such as dance and karate and all of those wonderful things that we offer them in Putnam County. And they'll still have time to do chores at home if their parents are so inclined. Our younger students will be provided with opportunities for after-school care. It can work, and it will work. How do I know? I know because I trust our principals and our administrators, and I know because I have spoken by phone and in person to many parents, school employees, and school board members in other counties whose parents had the same concerns as many of you do. And it has worked, and it has worked well. And they have seen grades increase, standardized test scores increase, discipline problems and absenteeism have decreased. And those with whom I spoke said if they had anything to do with it, they would never go back to the old schedule. We must continue to find ways for all of our students to be successful, and it is my heartfelt belief that this is one of the many things this administration has done to move us in the right direction. Mr. Board Attorney, it is your turn.
Thank you. Things have been busy in the legal department. I will try to get an answer for the board just as soon as possible on the procedural matter regarding the last board agenda. And I think it's a good recommendation from Board Member Jorgensen to bring this before the board in a special meeting just as soon as possible for the sake of the district, the administration, the other constituents who this all affects, and have a resolution as quickly as we can.
And on a lighter note, I want to congratulate our board attorney for the birth of two twins.
Thank you. Two twins.
Set of twins. That's,
Yeah, there you go.
two twins would be four, so
Yeah, that'd be redundant.
yeah, that'd be history making.
He wouldn't be
Not
here.
in one shot. We'd never see him again.
I talked to the board attorney's dad, and he talks about his son always liking, getting a bargain deal. So,
Yeah.
2 for 1.
That's right.
Yeah. I want to read a little comment in response to all the change in school times and our after-school programs that we've been looking into. We are actually applying or intend to apply for 21st Century Grant, and we've had before, but the focus of this grant will be on STEM. And we want to welcome any input from you or our public in the process of writing this grant. So if you would contact Dr. Coleman, she's actually in charge of writing that grant. And of course, you can dial 329-0527 is her number, and she would welcome any kind of input at all as she's writing that grant. I also want to point out, a couple weeks ago, I met with the board for Master Board Training in Gainesville for a couple days, and had some pretty good discussions. Talked about, how to listen and how to, have good conversation, respect each other's differences, and so on. But I think the biggest thing I got out of that were we identified some common core values that we all hold together, and we talked about maybe making those visible in this room.
Yeah, right by
That's
the top.
something we can work on. But the good thing about that, when we make decisions, or when you make decisions, we always need to look at what are those core values, those things that we hold to be true and we share. So I thought that was a real good experience. Also, I have invited representatives from the Superintendent's Association to visit our district first week of June. And we've had this plan for some time, but they're actually going to come in, some former superintendents and some other distinguished people, and actually do some analysis on 4 of our departments. Not that anything's wrong, we're actually trying to find out what are some ways we can improve. So I think it'll be very valuable information. And really, they're our largest departments: finance, staff services, IT, and transportation. And we're looking for some valuable information. And we get that service free of charge. So we're going to take advantage of that, and we'll report back to you at a later meeting.
Look forward to that.
Yep. So with that, I know many of us have a graduation ceremony to get to tonight, and weather permitting. So thank you.
Okay, that's it.
James,
Meeting is adjourned.
because James.